Ladies and gentlemen, guess who we're missing? Where's Beth?
The chef.
I don't know. Not in the dishwasher. Oh, it's because she's going to get you more money for your house, right, Chef?
That is correct.
So the chef is busy on the cabbage because everything is not mise en place. It will be soon, though. So we want to know, do you have everything in place?
Do you have everything in place? Mise en place, right?
Mise en place. So,
All right. So tonight's little spin on
like,
St. Patrick's Day.
I like it already.
Right. So
Good morning to you.
I hope everyone had a wonderful day today.
I think I did.
All right.
I had my kiss me, I'm Irish button. Got 10 kisses. All from Beth, but that's okay.
As long as it counts.
It counts.
Perfect. All right. So today we're going to be making a black and tan. If anyone's had a black and tan beer before, we're going to make a glaze and caramelize our chicken with that. And then we're going to make a spicy ale, ale, A-L-E.
Ale?
Right, like a pale ale sauce for our cabbage. And then we're going to pair the two together. So as you see, our mise en place is going. We're operating. First things first, we want to make sure everyone has their oven turned on. To 375 for our chicken. We want to make sure that we have the proper utensils. We have a bowl or a pan. This is going to be our marinade pan for our chicken. We got our cooking pan, and obviously, as you see, I love to save cleanup, so save cleanup. We're going to be pairing our dish today with a green Bloody Mary. What do we call this one? A Green Mary, a Hail Mary, a Kettle One Green Mary. What we've done is everyone take time and pull out your juicers. We're going to be making fresh juice, cucumber and celery. If you don't have a juicer, throw it in the food processor, take a nap, wake up, put a little water in there, squeeze it out, and we got some freshly juiced cucumber, celery. A little Grey Goose for this one. We didn't have the Kettle One, but this is just as efficient. Very high quality vodka for our Green Mary. Little vanilla bean for garnish. We have over here our Guinness Stout. This is a traditional Irish beer. Very, very dark. If you have not had it, please try it. If you don't like it, I understand. Then we're going to be using a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale today. This is not a traditional Irish beer. This comes out of California. If you have not had any of Sierra Nevada's brews, I recommend please try. Brought to you in part by our sponsor. So let's get cooking, shall we? First and foremost, what we want to do was I was in the process of getting some slaw going. So we'll get back to this in a moment, but we're going to want to marinate our chicken. So if everyone can get their chicken pulled out of the refrigerator and get it ready to go, we're going to make our marinade first. So we're going to get this slaw out to the side because we will want no cross-contamination in our products today. When working with poultry, we want to make sure that we are not cross-contaminating. And what that means is using touching raw products to ready-to-eat products. Poultry has to be cooked to 165 degrees in order to kill the bacteria that may be on the poultry. We don't know that it's on the poultry, but for our safety and yours, we want to make sure that we're not killing anybody or getting anybody sick at the very minimum. So no cross-contamination. We're going to need a bowl for our marinade. Got this guy here. What we're going to be using here is we're going to be using our ale, correct? Where's my cheat sheet? This one gets a little crazy today. This one's going to take our ale.
Can you use a wheat beer?
You can use a wheat beer. You can use any beer you want, technically. The only reason we called this black and tan is if we were to pour these two beers into the same glass, first you would do this one, and then you would spoon this one over the top. It would be black on top and tan on the bottom.
And I like it. It's good looking, tastes good, and filling.
So you can use any beer for this process. The reason we've chosen these two is because a black and tan would be a mixture. Well, traditionally it is two Irish beers. So Guinness and Harp would be the two traditional beers used to make that black and tan. But any pale ale will work in this instance, or any beer. So if you have a wheat beer at home, by all means, we're going to be able to want to use that.
And the spoon slows it down and kind of lets it foam just a little bit.
So if we can,
Should we take a glass? No, we need a clear glass. No, wait, let me get a clear glass.
one.
I'll get us a clear glass.
Okay.
You keep.
All right, we'll get that going. So first and foremost, we're going to put some ale into our marinade. We're going to be putting some honey, some cayenne, and 5 spice, which is over here. So this is going to add lots of flavor. If no one's worked with Chinese 5 spice before, this is incredible stuff. It's very, very potent, very pungent, but adds a lot of flavor very, very quickly. So this is going to be a nice twist, add a nice little tang with our beer in our marinade for our glaze. Then we're going to need some honey. Tablespoon, teaspoon. You know me, I don't measure it. I just eyeball it.
Hey, sorry
Welcome,
I'm
Beth.
late. I'm sorry I'm late, everybody. Welcome. So excited to be here tonight. Just ended up talking to a client on the phone, so that was super important. And now we're jumping into the kitchen.
We're ready. Let's get cooking, shall we? That's
Okay,
right.
Lovely.
So, real quick, got our marinade. We're gonna add a little bit more to this, but for the purposes, we're gonna show you how this.
That make black and tan.
We're gonna attempt this.
What are we, is this our drink?
No,
No.
this is the drink that inspired me to make this recipe for our chicken,
Oh,
which is a black and tan. We're gonna need a spoon.
black and tan. So is this your very own recipe?
This is why most of them are my very own
Oh,
recipe.
well, most of them are, but this was inspired by.
Yes,
this drink.
so I was trying to find something to do different for St. Patrick's Day. Everyone does corned beef and cabbage.
Right.
Last year we did the shepherd's pie, a little different take on that.
Mhm.
This was something that I said, you wanna know, we haven't done roasted chicken on the bone. I
Which
think-
actually I really like
I
because
don't
it's
think
much more
ever, yeah, I don't
flavorful.
think we've ever done it so far, so I figured, oh, wait, this would be a good opportunity because it goes well with the theme and the tradition, right? So the black and tan, how could we make this? Oh, I've got an idea. And then typically when I say I've got an idea, my chefs at work go, oh no, not another one. And that's kind of how that works. This might be a little more difficult, but we will try it. When you do this, you want to spoon the beer. So we're gonna slowly pour the beer onto the spoon to create. That's working.
What's it creating? What are you looking
It's
for?
splitting the color of the beer, so it's making it black and tan.
Spilling it.
It looks like he is spilling it.
It's because our glass is not proper. So when you do it, if you take the back of your spoon like such, you need a glass that it doesn't fall down so far, so you can hold this into your glass and pour over the top of it like such. And then since the buoyancy is different, right? So this is a thicker beer than this one. This one actually is lighter in volume, so it sits on top of your other one. See, harder in this glass.
Oh, picked up the wrong glass.
That's all right. It's harder. It's tougher. That's okay.
So anyway, it's supposed to be black and tan.
Right. Back
And
to the
color.
marinade.
Back to the marinade. Get it all in there.
All the ale. That's right.
So I love that you shared your inspiration.
Not working.
Needs to be wider, not
Wider, not skinnier.
Yeah, we need like a just a normal pint glass. That's why I was thinking like a highball glass is kind of easy to use. So I got more beer in there. We're gonna add a tiny more of our 5 spice.
Back, onward to.
And then we're gonna add some more of our cayenne pepper.
Got
And
it.
I know you guys like to have a kick,
We like to.
so we're gonna add a kick. And then we'll add a little more honey as well. So our recipe calls for the 4 chicken. We're feeding a little more for the crew. I'd like to say thank you for the crew who show up and take care of
Yes.
business for us, all those who put all the
Aaron,
baskets together for
Danielle,
everybody.
And Jen at home, who's monitoring. We all wouldn't have dinner if it wasn't for them.
That's true. So all I did, whisk this in nice and incorporated, make sure that that honey's dissolved. So it's all liquidy. So that's all in there. And then we're gonna take our pan here.
Can you use maple syrup, Jen?
You can use maple syrup, yes. It'll give a little bit different of a taste. It's not gonna be too far off. The reason the honey and not brown sugar is the distinct flavor of the honey. And that's what we're looking to achieve in this instance here. So we're gonna get our chickens in. These are some big old chickens. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna try to be able to cover our chicken. This is not gonna quite cover our chicken, but that's okay because it'll marinate a little bit. And what we're really trying to accomplish is capture the glaze. So if you gotta use your whole beer for the marinade, use your whole beer. The best thing I like to use is a bag to marinate, put everything in the bag. That way you're
Love
able
that.
to seal in the juices. A quick little trick also is if you put it into a bowl like such, and you plastic wrap the bowl, plastic wrap, make a nice tight thing and press it down. What happens is we're extracting the excess air in there and we're creating a vacuum seal. So when you press that plastic wrap down and the air escapes and it sucks in, it creates that vacuum seal, which then penetrates the proteins, the muscle a lot faster. So you're marinating quicker. Cuts it down by half, if not more than that.
Okay.
So that's that. We'll get our chicken going marinated there. And then we're gonna get back to our slaw. Because we gotta let our slaw marinate. One thing about making slaw is you do want to let it sit for a little while. Why? To marry the flavors, but also help the vegetable soften. Since it is a fresh vegetable salad, cabbage is pretty hardy, bell peppers are hardy, carrots are hardy. The longer we let it sit, the better it really is. So we're wanting to get that taken care of and out the way. So I've already got started. Nice shredded cabbage, bell pepper, carrots. Nice little mix here. So we'll show you the process. So how I work it, cut the bell pepper in half. Some people like to take this side off. Some people like to take this side off. I don't really follow any of that. I just pop off the top with the seeds and then any of the vein, pull right out. I think it's much easier.
Quicker.
And then we're gonna make a julienne. This is gonna be a fine julienne, which is going to be a thin cut, the length of the bell pepper. And we're gonna wanna cut it as thin as we possibly can. So everyone at home practicing the claw technique, keeping those fingertips out of the way, utilizing the back of your fingers and your knuckle as the guide of your knife blade. And the rock and chop method, nice and easy. Keep that tip of the knife down on the cutting board and utilize the weight of the knife to do the cutting for you instead of struggling and cutting it. So that's our bell pepper process. Then you can use a whole carrot. You can take a cheese grater and grate your carrot on a cheese grater.
Oh, wow.
How simple is that, right? Has
Sounds
an
easier.
super fine shreds like this, right?
Right. And it wouldn't be just as chunky and hard.
Right, which is the principle, right? So we're gonna use baby carrots today. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut them on the bias as thin as we possibly can to create a texture that is very, very similar to the bell pepper crunch and the cabbage crunch. You could cut them in half long ways like this and lay them down, and same thing. Cut them on a bias, and it gives you almost the same consistency as shredding it on a box grater.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
So then that guy there,
Gotta be a good chopper.
this definitely utilizes your knife skills.
Exactly. I'm like, I won't be trying that in a minute.
It's just practice is all that it takes. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Holding the knife is key as well. So a lot of people like to hold the knife just like this. So as you can see, I can't control the knife very well, right? Some
Right.
people like to do this thinking that that's going to help. The problem is you don't have good control of the knife. If you hold the knife in your hand like such and hold the back of the blade like this, and you're able to have very, very control over that knife, and you can control how much weight you're putting onto that knife to cut for you and where you place that. So whether I place it here or I place it back there, all depends on how high I have to bring the knife up, and you'll see with the cabbage in a second. So there's our carrot process. With the cabbage, whole cabbage, cut the guy in half, right? Cut it in quarters.
Right.
Then from there, you see this here that you want to take out. So I just like an apple or a pear, same thing, pineapple, the core of it.
Okay,
I just take my knife, go straight down all the way off.
got
Boom.
it.
Just like that, one swoop. All right. And then from here, depends on how long do we want our shreds. Do we want our shreds to be that whole length? Do you want to eat a piece of slaw that's that big?
No,
No, we don't, right? We want to have something that's a little smaller. So this is where we determine whether we want to cut it in half or in thirds. Based upon the length of this, I say in half will be exactly what we're looking for. Then I lay that guy down on its side. And then same thing, just rock and chop it, trying to shred that cabbage as close together as possible.
Yep.
So the more cuts, the finer your shred is, the less cuts, the thicker your chop is. If you feel more comfortable doing this way, nice and slow and steady, by all means, go ahead and do so. But we're wanting to make sure, so as you saw how I rotated that over.
right,
And that's because it was getting too skinny on that one side, so I created a bigger flat surface so that I can continue to shred evenly all the way through the cabbage. And then like these guys, I would just take and bunch them together. And then same thing. Utilize that like that.
What brand knife are you using, Chef?
I am using a Wusthof Icon Classic. My recommended brand of knife is Wusthof due to the weight and blade construction. This is a very, very, very good knife. Why? It holds its sharpness due to the strength of the steel. It also has a good weight in your hand. So the handle to the blade, if holding it, it should rest evenly. You want to make sure that your knives are sharp, right? You don't always have to sharpen your knife. Sometimes it's just fine tuning the blade. So if you fine tune the blade every time you use it, you should sharpen it. So you don't always have to fine tune it. As long as you're not beating it up on stuff, you're
should be sharp.
should be good enough, right? Typically you just take a piece of paper, run it down. If you can't hold a piece of paper and cut through it, sharpen your knife. Right? You can take them to get sharpened. You can use the little hand sharpeners, work okay. Ideally, the stone is the way to do it, but not everyone knows how to do that.
We might have a stone, just a little seminar next time.
Yeah, on how to sharpen, right? And how to do that, or how to use the steel. So using the steel, you want to hold your knife blade 30 degrees and go from the back to the front as you come down. Like this. I always hold mine upside down. Reason being is it's easier to pull away from you than it is to be worried about getting your thumb, right?
We
That's
don't
why-
want to get our
That's
thumbs.
why they create this, but guess what? If you're properly doing it, that's not gonna help you much, right? That's why I always hold my steel upside down, so I can get the true 30-degree angle as I run that up and down the steel.
Excellent. You learn something new every day.
It's about the angle.
It is, that's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to use that, but it's better to know that you have to at an angle.
Right, with that proper angle, you will fine tune it very, very sharp. As opposed to if you don't, you're gonna beat it up and then you're gonna be sharpening it again. We don't wanna do that, right? Alright. So now that we have all of our ingredients for our slaw, we wanna make our dressing for our slaw. We can use the bowl that we have there because it did not touch any chicken, which is good. So this one is going to be soy sauce, ginger, honey. Let's see, where's this guy here? So this one, we're gonna do half a cup of soy sauce. Then we're gonna be doing, I have some fresh garlic. Some ginger. Honey. And we were supposed to save a little bit of our marinade, but we're gonna make that just right in here anyway. Because we needed all that marinade for our chicken. So we're gonna crack open another ale, add that to there. If you haven't seen that trick, try it at home. So this one's just
Everybody's got a way to open up.
a little beer. Little cayenne. Little 5 spice. And we're gonna need some more honey, I can tell you already. Just due to the amount of soy sauce we have.
All right, as we're fine tuning ours. Tom and Pat, thanks for joining us tonight. We're happy to have you guys. And then cheers to all the trilogy people. I know Angela was out in your neighborhood today showing lots of property. So cheers for all of you guys joining us tonight. Hopefully there's some dinner parties happening.
Hi, Lori Keller. I hear you're on too. I'm so glad you joined us. You're gonna learn a lot from these guys. Oh, it smells so great.
It does smell good. Little salt and pepper. Get some tongs. And we're gonna pour this in. Make sure we don't leave no remnants. We're gonna give this a good toss.
People out there have made slaw before. I've never made it.
You never made coleslaw?
Never. Have you guys made it out there?
Spicy slaw. Do that.
We like a spicy always, so this would be fun to actually cook in our kitchen.
Yeah, I figured we haven't done anything like this,
Mm-mm.
so something different. One I like to do, cabbage, carrots, so red cabbage, green cabbage, carrots, Granny Smith apples, and then make a poppy seed dressing for that.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little spin to that's delicious. We're gonna let this sit in here, marinate up,
Perfect.
and then let's get our pan for our chicken. And all we're gonna do is we're just gonna press our chicken into our marinade a little bit here. Just to get a little more of that love into it. Making sure we keep it nice and safe. out of the way of the rest of our goods.
Now, if you have more time, obviously always good to marinate it for a little bit longer.
20 minutes is usually pretty good, like I was
Is it?
saying, yeah. Overnight, if that, I mean, obviously, if you want to do 12 hours, 24 hours, 72 hours, it depends. If you want to do that, you don't necessarily have to. I always recommend at least 20 minutes is a good amount of time for marinade. If you do that little trick that I showed you with the bowl where you plastic wrap and press that air out of there to create that vacuum seal,
It gets it there quicker.
much quicker, right? So what it does is it sucks all the air out of that bowl and basically cleans or presses the marinade into the flesh much faster, as opposed to just letting it sit there and enjoy itself like it's at the spa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we're doing is we're just working it in, right? So all we're doing is just getting that marinade into the flesh of our chicken. We want to make sure that it's in the meat, right? That's really what the marinades are about. A lot of people like to use oil in their marinades. If you're grilling, stay away from the oil or fat, because what happens is as soon as you put that on the grill, right? Crazy. We don't want that. Just light your grill on fire and you're not even looking at using. So if you are going to put oil in your marinade when you're grilling, very, very little is what I recommend. You can use, dressings are good for marinades. If you thin out some dressing with white wine or red wine, get some good marinade action
Mhm.
going on. So
Like an Italian dressing or something thinner.
yeah, and Italian's a good basic marinade. Adding more herbs to it or fresh, adding spices or fresh herbs to it. Even adding beer to it, right? You're getting it. I always recommend adding a little more acid when you're using Italian dressing. It's so you can cut that dressing flavor,
Mhm.
right? You know how it's like super tangy and
Right,
pungent.
right.
Always adding a little bit more cuts that flavor out of there, so it still incorporates what we need.
Good idea.
Chicken into the oven.
Okay.
And then from here, we can go right on into our.
Cocktail.
That is right. Cocktail hour.
Happy hour.
All the time you were wondering why we said pull out your juicer. Well, now that time. Just when you thought I couldn't get any healthier, we're gonna add some vodka to that.
All right. This I have to see though, because I heard we're gonna do some with, what are we juicing? Celery?
Celery
I
and
mean,
cucumber.
Juicing. That's just interesting to me. Have you guys ever heard of that before?
Yes.
Other than you? Have any of you juiced a cucumber or celery at home? Well, we're gonna learn it here tonight. I'm excited. I never use our juicer.
So what we've done is we have our cucumber and our celery. We're gonna want to take the ends off our celery. We don't want no dirt in our juice. Like this. And we're gonna want to take these top ends off. We don't want any of this dirt in there as well.
Nor fly.
And you can sit there and scrub and wash and all that you want to, but I just recommend you cut it off. You don't have to worry about it.
Simpler.
That's right. And then we're gonna take the skin off of our cucumber. I'm not using a vegetable peeler because I want to practice my knife skills. Just like doing a pineapple or a watermelon. Take that skin right off. Like so. Try to get most of this off as you can. So the reason we want to take the skins off is because it's bitter.
Yeah.
Unless you're using a carrot, wash your carrot really, really good, juice with the skin on. The thing is, most of your nutritional value is in the skin. It's in most of the skins involved. Anyway, but juicing that skin is very, very tough, super difficult. So what we do is we take this, put it in our bowl. And then we go to a commercial break. And when we come back, you have freshly made, squeezed juiced celery juice. Thank you. thank you.
Chef, that's amazing.
I know, it sounds crazy. My knife skills were working very, very diligently today. So we got that. Now we're gonna need our a glass. We're gonna need just a glass and some ice and dried chili flakes and cinnamon and nutmeg, and we're gonna stir well, and that's all we got.
That's all we
That's all
got.
we got, folks.
Right.
Get us a spoon.
Has anyone made your drink yet?
They're still getting their juicers out.
Yeah, everybody's getting the juicers out.
I'm already-
When you juice, do you juice them both together? How do you,
You can juice them all together as one, it makes
Okay.
it easier.
so you take this whole thing, throw in the juicer?
Yep.
If that's what you're doing, that's how we
That-
got to this.
That's how we got there. Due to
Okay,
time
fast forward.
constraint, yeah, that's right.
Got it.
We went on a commercial break really quick, came back, boom,
We
done.
got it.
That's right. All right, so for these guys, all we're gonna do. Ice in here. All ingredients into a glass, add your ice and stir well, okay.
Doesn't sound
What
that
about-
complicated.
no,
Do
the
we have to
jigger,
have it
sir?
do a, are we doing a rim or no?
That's up to you. Is that what you wanna do? Is that what you don't wanna do?
Well,
So,
it does look like there was.
spices,
What would that
we
typically
can-
be? A Tahini rim?
Well, this one is the spices we have here,
Okay.
right? Here's a jigger. Ding. Perfecto.
So, you know, I think this one's gonna be healthy and might be, you know, get you a little. where
I
you need to
probably
be.
have one already started, but that's all right.
This guy? We looked.
Yeah, we looked. We looked, we bought, we sent everybody ingredients so they could have them too.
Somebody said that it was tasty.
Oh, tastes
There you
good.
go. That's testimonial.
It's just a lot of vodka right there.
No, that's only one.
No, I
more.
mean this.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is
Good.
a lot of vodka.
So a little cinnamon here. Little chili flake. Nutmeg.
Grey Goose. How about Kettle One?
Stir our freshly juiced celery.
Oh, that looks good.
We're gonna put some freshly squeezed lemon juice, or lime juice,
Lime
I'm
juice,
sorry,
yeah.
yep. How's everyone doing out there? Any questions so far?
Great.
Everyone doing good?
How's the drink? Thumbs
Yeah.
Somebody said, just don't breathe over a gas top.
up? Nice.
That means someone had a.
Little
two
too much.
jiggers.
Yeah.
Or
one-
more
one was-
vodka.
I like the celery stir, Rod.
Yeah, and then we gotta, of course, you gotta have your garnish, right? And if you're gonna do it right, then you're gonna do it right, so we'll do it right.
Tom says he loves it.
Okay.
Awesome, Tom.
Tom is a concierge. He knows that. He really knows his stuff.
It's like a green Bloody Mary.
It's just like a green Bloody Mary, that is right.
That's right.
I heard it goes great with green eggs and ham.
That's what I heard too, the morning after St. Patrick's Day. And then
Alright,
that
little toast.
is that.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
go.
It's a lot lighter than expected.
It's a lot lighter. So it's like the lighter of the Bloody Mary, lighter flavor.
It's a lot cleaner.
It is a lot lighter.
I know a lot of people do not.
Skinny Mary.
A skinny Mary. That's funny. A lot of people don't like the tomato juice, so that's a good alternative for you. Right? It is healthy.
Did you do a sprinkle of celery salt or cayenne powder?
We did the chili flakes in there. The celery salt you can dip in there as well. With Bloody Marys,
Cheers.
I don't know if you know this, but the sky's the limit. Sometimes they'll stack all this stuff in a glass like this and call it a cocktail, and it looks like brunch all in a glass, but that's how they like to do, and that's how they do it. So moving right along, let's take a peek at our chicken.
Oh yeah, it's working away. It's working away.
We're gonna get our glaze going. We're gonna need a nice little sauce pot like such. We're gonna need a flame. We're gonna be doing some reducing, some rapid reducing. We're gonna turn our flame on medium high right now.
Okay.
We're gonna add some oil. We're gonna be starting off with our onion.
Always a good place to start.
Yeah.
Oil and onion.
Oil and onion, it's usually where we
Get it going.
start. Some garlic. Make sure we get this going on high. We're gonna wanna cook this down. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna want to saute till we get a nice caramelization here.
Okay.
Saute again means high heat, a little bit of fat. We got a little bit of fat with avocado oil. We have nice high heat. What we are doing is we're extracting the sugars from our onion
Right.
very quickly, right?
Okay.
You hear that sizzle?
I know
That's
it's
what we're
starting to come
looking
in.
That's right. That's what we're looking for. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna saute our onions and our garlic for a little bit, looking for that translucent color, trying to keep the heat at a good high temperature, so that way we can caramelize a little bit.
Okay.
We haven't done a whole lot of caramelization with our vegetables in this process, but for this application, we want that. We're looking to capture that. So when we add that beer, that flavor is so much different than if we didn't, right? Most of the time when we're making sauces, we're just bringing our onions to a translucent. We're not getting that brown color, that sugar on the edges of it.
Right.
What we're really looking for.
Absolutely.
So if we get a little stir in there.
Might be like for the other one.
Let's do this, that will work.
Okay.
So you don't have to watch this super closely at this point, just because it's getting started, but you do want to be mindful to the garlic. If your garlic starts to get brown, be very, very cautious of that. You can turn your heat down some. Don't want to burn the garlic. The rule of thumb is if you burn the garlic, you gotta throw it in the trash. And
Start over.
we don't have time for that.
Not on a cooking show. How is everything coming along for all of you? Do you guys have any additional questions? Are you a little behind, ahead of us? How's it going? Let us know.
Yeah, so this caramelizes. I'm gonna pull our slaw out and just give it a nice little toss because we have some liquid here in the bottom. We're wanting to make sure that we capture that in our slaw. So we want to give it a little stir. All we're doing is just incorporating that flavor. It's allowing it to break down our carrots, our cabbage, and our bell pepper.
Smells delicious.
And as it's breaking down, it's going to continue to release water from the vegetables. So when we go to serve, we're going to want to make sure that we're not sopping that all over the plate, right?
Right.
You can strain it if you want. You can save all that love and add it to our glaze if you wanted to.
Or keep mixing it in.
Sky's the limit. Keep mixing it in. That's right.
Okay.
So we get back to our glaze here. As you can see, the onions are just starting to get translucent. right? Barely getting any of that color. We're keeping that heat on high, and we want to do so we can get that caramelization. When you caramelize onions for like French onion soup, you start off really high and then you turn it down to like a medium, but you just let them keep cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking. And you think that it's burnt, and you keep letting them cooking and cooking and cooking, and you stir it and you cook it and you cook it. You're extracting all of the sugar out of the onion, and that's what gives such that rich flavor to French onion soup.
What brand of soy sauce did you use?
I like to use a nice low sodium soy sauce. Today we're using the finest Kroger brand that you can find. Kikkoman, usually low sodium. The reason I say low sodium is because soy sauce is very, very high in sodium. By using a low sodium soy sauce, a little bit healthier for you, not really difference in flavor. If you notice, you can taste the two and two together. Actually, after you start eating the low sodium soy sauce, like with sushi and other Chinese foods, white rice, if you had regular soy sauce, you'd be like, whoa, that's super pungent,
Right.
full of sodium, right? So you can see there, Beth, we are getting a little bit of that caramelization going, right?
Oh, yeah.
See how we're just starting to caramelize in the pan there? That's what we're looking for. Maintaining that high heat and doing the stirring allows us to extract that sugar. So we're getting some good caramelization. That's what we're looking for.
Big carrot?
As opposed to baby carrot. So the question is, would the taste be different from using a regular carrot and a baby carrot? Technically, no, right? Is a baby carrot a little sweeter? Sure. But it's all about the consistency or the cut, the size of the cut. The finer the shred, the less carrot you're gonna capture. Right. The bigger the shred, the more you're going to identify the carrot when you go to eat it. So not really a whole lot of difference. Typically everyone has baby carrots in their refrigerator. It's kind of something I use them all the time because of that, because it's versatile.
You have it.
Yeah, I just give the little ones the carrots and she's off and running, or I'm cooking with them, right?
Right.
So as you can see,
We improvised. We didn't buy any other ones because we had them.
which is the way you want to do. It's all about utilizing what you have is cooking, right? And how do we make more with less? So see that caramelization in there? We're gonna let these go for just another second or so. And we're gonna deglaze. We're not gonna add all of our beer into the pot just yet. So as that's coming in, you can see that caramelization, super nice color. That's maintaining. Even taking a look at some of this here. See our garlic pieces getting that dark
Right.
brown color, which is good. We're not burning none of it. So stirring it as you need to. If you can see, Aaron, if you could get in here into the pot there, all that fond right there, all that caramelization in the back, we want that in our sauce. So we're looking to get that. If you're not getting that, crank up the heat because we need to get some of that, right? If we don't have any of that fond in the pot and your onions aren't looking like this, we're not sauteing.
Don't be afraid.
That's right. We want to saute. And then we're going to deglaze. Don't worry, we're not adding any liquor to this pot.
Thank God.
So we're going to add our stout. We're not going to add it all. We're going to save some for our slurry. So all we're going to do is bring this down and let it reduce. For our sake, we are going to add everything we have. We'll crack up another. So what we want to do, we can't see it, but you're going to want to save about this much of your beer in the bottom. So we can add that to our cornstarch to make our slurry to tighten up our glaze. Okay. For our sake, since we got a whole crew who's starving and haven't eaten all day long, we're going to
Need a little extra.
we're going to have to add a little more. It's pretty good there. So we're going to keep this on high. We're going to want to reduce. By reducing rapidly, keeping it on high, we're evaporating all the water, keeping in all the sugars. Right? And that's really what we're doing. We're fortifying the flavors to our stout glaze here, our black and tan glaze. Let's take a look at our chicken here.
See if we got to do a rotation. I see it's coming along pretty good. I want to do a spin on this guy, just so we can make sure we're evenly cooking.
But doesn't this side of cooking usually take a bit longer?
It'll take about a good 35 minutes roasting, nice and high. I have our oven up a little bit higher than 375. You do want to cook it at a good high temperature, like 375, 400, to create that color on there, right? We don't want to just have regular baked chicken.
Right.
We want that roast effect, which is a higher heat than bacon. So from here, we're going to add a little bit of honey and one more ingredient, if I'm not mistaken. Or brown sugar is what we're adding. Our ginger and our brown sugar.
Can you use agave?
You can, thank you. Yes, use agave. 2 thumbs up for that stuff.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna add a little bit of our fresh ginger. And continue to let that reduce down. We're gonna do a nice little stir. Make sure that we're dissolving that brown sugar. If we don't do that, you're gonna end up with a rock in the bottom of burnt sugar, and we definitely do not want
Right, you want
that.
to keep it all mixed in and,
So all we're doing
Right.
is just helping it dissolve. Yep, as it continues to reduce.
all right, so we're gonna do a quick market update.
And at this
Okay.
moment, we'll go for a commercial break.
Commercial market update. All right, let's talk about that.
Market
I think
update.
we have some interesting things to talk about today. So he's gonna join us. And I'm sure everybody's been hearing about what's happening with with the NAR settlement.
Disintermediated. Does anybody know what that word means? Disintermediated. I think it's like
Enlighten
a,
us.
yeah, it's like a 8-syllable word. So when the travel agencies had big tech come in, they said, wow, with big tech, we can get rid of all the travel agents. And you know what? Honestly, Beth, I don't use those like sites, but they're super valuable. They give you ideas, they give you rates, they give you a societal norm. But disintermediating real estate, the most important thing in your whole life, the only thing other than if you have a rich uncle, remember we talked about that last month. If you don't have a rich uncle, pay attention, because real estate will give you the most money for retirement than you ever could do. You can't save it. So here's the deal. We want to be transparent in our industry. We want everyone to know what we charge. Beth and I, we charge half of the normal, quote unquote, there is no normal rate because everything's litigious, so I can't say normal, but
what we've always done and
Always.
like we will continue to do is talk to our sellers about what they're going to be paying for a commission, including how much we're going to be paying the buyer's agent if they decide they want to proceed with that. We explain it, we talk about it, and it's a mutual agreement. And that's what it always has been and will actually always continue to be. The only real difference that we're probably going to see come July is that it's not going to be publicly advertised in the MLS to the buyer's agent.
but it never has been. There's never been a time that the consumer can go, oh, let me see, what are you getting paid? Because there's a buyer agent copy and a realtor copy.
Listing agent.
So here's the deal, guys. We know what we charge you because you're our clients that we've known forever, and we believe in new home construction. We believe in representing you on the new home and helping you on the old home and giving you a discount,
Absolutely.
right? And at the end of the day, our fees range somewhere between 3 and 4.5%. 3 if you buy through us, 4.5 if you don't. I mean, come on, guys. We actually, Beth, was late tonight because she was negotiating a contract. She's been in the corporate world for 20 years. She's one of the best negotiators ever. She's the only one that negotiates contracts. So I want you guys to know, you have no one better than her on your team. And the buyer's agent, if they're not worth it, they're gonna get paid a little bit less. That's it. But everybody will see everything, which is what we always do. We're
Always
100% transparent.
Right. And we'll
So,
continue to be.
yeah.
So I think the main
always.
thing is, there's gonna be a lot of discussions about it. Everybody's gonna talk about it when you want to
Social
buy and
media
sell.
is blowing up.
Right.
Call us.
We'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Call Beth. Let her give you an equity analysis of what you're doing right now, what's your value, and what your value projected to be, and what's best for you,
Right.
right? Because every situation is different. And for our trilogy people, I've had a couple of people now recently, we've had a couple of tragedies. My father, he's 91. What do you do with properties that you own when you're finally getting to those last stages? We can help you with all of that information. It's really a hard time when we get to that time of life, but it's inevitable. We're all going to die. So let us help you in any stage of your real estate affairs, right?
Absolutely. We're here for the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, guys.
thank
We
you for joining
appreciate
us tonight.
And drink more if this was a morbid topic.
No, enjoy the rest of our dinner. Let's get cooking. What do we have going on here, Chef? Wow,
Nice,
making progress.
nice reduction, right? So all I did was I turned our heat down just a little bit so we didn't evaporate all of our liquid, but we're reducing quickly, right? That's what we're
Right.
wanting to do. Our next step is to make a slurry. So what you're gonna need is some cornstarch. And with this, it's about 50-50. It's more like 40-60. 60% cornstarch, 40% liquid. And the reason we're using our beer for this and not water is because you typically want to use something other than water, broth, wine, beer, anything that you're going to be thickening with your slurry, you're going to want to use the same type of ingredients. You can use water. The difference is if you don't use water, you won't have to cook it out so much. If you do water, you will have to cook out this slurry a lot more, roughly 10 minutes.
Really?
Mhm.
And that's because it breaks it down a little bit with the other ingredients and the other products?
It helps take away the cornstarch flavor more than if we were just to add water.
There's no flavor to it.
Correct.
Interesting.
So like when you're doing your chicken gravy and everyone does this, take your broth, put it in there, stir around, add your
Got it.
So if you see, this thickens pretty quickly. So we always start with less and we can always add more if necessary, but we're at the right temperature and we're trying to create a glaze. As you can see instantly, we're already starting to
Wow.
form that glaze type texture, the nap to coat the
I
back
know,
of the
right?
spoon, right?
You always have to look for that now.
Yeah, so like we're right there at the glaze already. We're gonna want to reduce this down a little bit. I didn't even add I don't even
Not
think
even
I
half.
added a teaspoon of what we needed. So since we got more cornstarch and more beer, I'm gonna make more glaze. This isn't gonna really change a whole lot, but I'll show you how the difference is. Where it was getting to
Pretty
be
thick.
too thick, right?
Mhm.
We don't want that, so adding more liquid, we're gonna thin it out. And you'll see that. And you'll see that it's not, the amount of liquid we added isn't gonna thin out this too much. But then we also have more slurry so we can tighten it back up again. But I just wanted to show you how you're able to do that so quickly with your slurry.
Right.
So as you can see, we added more liquid and we gained more volume and the consistency almost stayed the same, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we're gonna add
Well, it was a little bit.
right, because if we were to sit here and let this reduce down just a little bit, we would get to that consistency. So we'll add a touch more of our slurry. And you're gonna want to stir when you do this so you don't create any clumps. And you'll see just like that how thick that got quickly, right? Glaze like. So I think that's gonna be a good consistency here as soon as this comes back up to temperature. What we're gonna want to do is let's take a peek at our chicken. Oh, there it's looking pretty good. Get some color going on there.
I'm still drinking my same one.
Here, I'm gonna do something real quick. Since our chicken breasts are so big, I'm gonna want to just flip them over for a minute, just so we can get this underside cooked.
Oh, yeah.
When we're cooking on the bone, it is gonna take a little longer. If you're worried about your crispy skins getting ruined, you don't have to do this part. You're just gonna have to leave it in there longer. But we are gonna add a glaze, so we're gonna create a crisp on the end, at the end. Anyway. So as you can see, we got a little more time to go. You can see right here that little drummy right there has got a little bit of time, a little bit of time. And the reason we want to flip them over is because we want to introduce that to the oven so that way there's air cooking that directly. It's sitting on the pan. It's not allowing it to cook the way that we're wanting it to cook or as fast as we want. So then you see our glaze. Nice and fortified. Right, the nappe to coat the back of the spoon. It's really what we were looking for. So
Oh, that looks great now.
let's turn this guy
Really
down.
come around.
Mhm. Let's grab us a spoon here. Let's give it a little taste, but see what you think. Need a little more sugar in there.
I kind of feel like a little more sugar.
A little more sweet.
Yeah, a little more sweet.
I think so too, just by the smell of it.
Yeah.
See the difference between the chef, he can smell it and feel it. My good buddy Tom Lacker's out there. We appreciate you being online, Tom, because I know you know what you're doing. Oh, it looks like we got a little more sweet going in there.
Yeah, it needed it though.
Yeah.
It definitely needed that.
Oh, I love it.
So if we're adding more sugar to this, we definitely want to make sure that we are going to be thickening more. So we want to be mindful to that.
More, a little bit of more water.
If possible. I think our consistency here is pretty good. We're just
Yeah.
needing to add that sugar so that way it has a sweetness to it. The Guinness beer is very bitter on its own, so we're wanting to sweeten that out in the process.
So you have a Fulton home, don't you, my friend?
What's that?
Do you own a Fulton home?
I do own a Fulton home.
Ha. So guys, you know, we represent a lot of builders out there. You know what Fulton does?
What does Fulton do?
Create a home that you want.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Fulton
Do-
did create a
Do
home
you
that I-
have the home you want?
It is there.
Is it the ultimate chef's kitchen?
It is the ultimate chef's kitchen.
Are you loving it?
Every day I'm cooking in it.
Look in the mirror. Look right there to the hey world. Fulton Homes still does designer upgrades.
That's right.
You mean you can get a chef's kitchen?
From the floor to the ceiling.
And are you so happy?
Yeah, ecstatic.
All right, here's a Fulton homeowner. I just wanted to say a shout out to Tom Lacker. He's a good friend of mine, and he taught me a lot of what I know. And when I look at you, I go, man, you know what you're doing. And to be able to buy a home and have this kind of experience in that home is amazing. And so remember, guys, we advocate new homes because they're energy efficient.
Mhm.
What's your electricity like? Pretty close to zero?
It's actually very, very low. To be
Like,
honest, in the middle of July.
like what in July? Give me a number.
I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head.
Because you're like me, your wife does the bills.
That part. No, so owning an electric car and charging an electric car, not much difference in the electricity bill, charging that car, so.
So
if that
you
tells
even have the availability to charge your car in your garage, which not a lot of builders offer that.
Right,
So guys, we just want to let you know, we represent a lot of builders. There's still a lot of opportunity. 3.99% in some homes for interest rate.
yeah,
Still today, still a great opportunity. And don't forget, it's a good time to keep your home and build wealth.
that's right.
Let's build this sauce.
We're getting there. We're fortifying flavors right now. As you can see how much thicker it's gotten. Nice little bubble. We're wanting to make sure at this point we don't have high heat going, right? We turn the heat down so it's just at a low simmer. Nice light little bubble. What we're doing is continuing to extract the moisture that was in there.
Yep, I am really, really looking right now.
So let's we're just about ready to tighten it up. Look, we got some good caramelization on our chicken here. And we flip that around for a good cause so that way we can continue to cook that bottom piece of our drummy here and make sure that everything close to the bone is getting cooked properly. So what we want to do is we're going to take these guys out. We're going to want to brush on some of our glaze. We're going to want to pop them right back in there so we can coat our chicken with the glaze that we need. How's everyone doing at home? You got any questions?
Is anybody done yet? I mean, someone with a smaller group of chickens might be actually done. Do you guys have any photos of your plates yet? Have you plated? I like how you're saving that skin. A lot of people like the skin,
A lot of
especially
people,
the crispy.
a lot of people like the skin. So if we want to grab a brush there, Beth. Make sure that that sticks nicely.
Now, if I didn't want the skin on, I could peel it back and still put the sauce on
Right now would be your opportunity
to do that.
to do that. The reason we want to keep the skin on while we're cooking it is so that we can maintain moisture of the chicken. So it's acting as a barrier and helping seal in the juices so it
Right.
doesn't dry it out.
But if you put the marinade on, you take the skin off and put the marinade on, you should still have that. Will that help?
So yes, it will. Like I was saying, in the cooking process, as we're roasting it, leave that skin on. And right now would be that time to peel it off so that way you maintain maximum moisture of your chicken here during the roasting process. It also acts as like a natural basting component because as it cooks, the skin fat continues to add moisture to the chicken.
Makes sense. For a
Mhm.
person though that doesn't like the skin, I know that it's good to seal the moisture in. So you always hate to take it off too early. That's why I was asking.
So a good thing, I mean,
But you want the extra flavor without just having to peel it off the skin on top, you know?
correct.
So this is good. I mean, it's good to see because then I would know at this point to take it off.
Yep, so you could take it completely off if you wanted to. If you wanted to peel it back and brush the chicken, lay it back
Oh,
on.
there you go.
Right,
That's a good
so
idea.
like what I do with my turkeys is I take that skin and release it from the breast, stuff my herbs right there, so that way it gets the flavor
And it's
on.
all sealed
Yeah,
in.
and then we keep those, put the skin back on to create that barrier so that it doesn't dry out.
I'd say that's a better idea, especially even on this application.
Absolutely. So we're just gonna pop these guys back in for a few moments. Let those do their thing. We're gonna turn our glaze off. Use some of this as we plate. We're gonna wanna get a plate. I tried to make you a black and tan. You can't really see it because it's too dark.
I saw that.
It was working for a second,
And then no.
and then
But I saw you were trying and that was good. You were like, I am gonna make this happen.
so like I was saying, we're gonna get a little bowl here. Look how much water we've gained in our slaw. So we've extracted that water by breaking
Wow.
down the cabbage and the other vegetables.
So that's just that natural process.
Correct. Adding sugar to this, just regular granulated sugar helps break that down even more. So another process to do there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna want to save all this low. Because this all then becomes our next marinade for whatever we want to do.
Do you guys remember that 8-syllable word Steve used?
Supercalifragilistic. Oh no, it wasn't it. That one I don't know. So we're wanting to make sure that we take out all that excess liquid, so our slaw is not soupy, so our plate's not all soaking wet.
Yeah, that's good.
But we don't want to lose that. This is all love right here. We can make a sauce with that.
Okay.
You can use it for pot stick. Great way to utilize that right there.
I'm making those tomorrow.
Perfect.
I'm thinking, no, that's not happening.
No,
No, it's just not gonna whip up pot stickers tomorrow. Anybody else gonna whip those up tomorrow?
I mean,
I
when
feel
you-
like that seems hard.
when you plan it appropriately,
Yeah,
yeah, you'll be all right.
when you plan it. So how long, if I was gonna save this to reutilize, how long do I have?
7 to 10 days.
Oh, wow, that's
You,
actually longer
if
than.
you strained all of that cabbage
Yeah.
and stuff out, you probably could get more days out of it because of the soy sauce, the
Oh, it's, yeah,
sodium, right? It's mostly all that it is, sugar, kept in the refrigerator,
okay,
easily 2 weeks, you'd be fine.
wow, good to know. So you don't have to make those pot stickers tomorrow.
That is correct.
Perfect,
You can save those for your guests on Saturday.
there you go. That looks good, look at that.
A nice little
I like
slaw.
that it has a little flavor to it.
Yeah, and the soy sauce does take away from the greenness,
Yeah,
but if we added a little bit of red to it, that brightness would come out. Right? So that's
Absolutely.
something you can do. And it's endless. You want to add Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, any vegetable essentially that you want to add to that, feel free to do so. Asparagus.
wow,
You can, I mean, if you want to go super Asian with it, you can add bamboo shoots and water chestnuts. So it all depends on what you're looking to do. Yeah. Some fresh cilantro in there, make it Thai style like we did with the chicken lollipops.
oh, that's right.
Little tomato, fresh cilantro, tiny little fish sauce in there, and you got yourself a nice little slaw.
Is that what I was in?
So pretty much same ingredients, slight little tweaks, end up from different regions around the world, right? So different cuisines from other countries. They all use the same ingredients, they just use them differently to get what they're trying to do. So very interesting. Take a look at this chick.
Frozen. Hello.
Yes, you got a question?
Ooh, that looks great. Amazing. Yeah, that's a lot of chicken.
It's a good thing we're all hungry.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice little sticky baste here. Little plate presentation.
Can you serve that on the side as well?
Absolutely. So what we've done is we took a little bit of our orange bell pepper. Try to brighten it up a little bit. Nice little lime twirl. And just like that. Deeper cut.
Wow, that looks amazing.
And there you have the black and tan roasted chicken with our spicy ale slaw, accompanied by a nice skinny Mary.
Wow, that looks
Amen.
amazing. Wow, that looks so great. It smells amazing too. We're
Send us
super
your
excited.
pictures, everyone.
Our next episode is April 25th on Thursday, 6 o'clock. We're 6 till 8 p.m. Learn how to cook strawberry burrata, spinach salad and fresh garlic herb pitas.
You ever made pita?
I have never made pita. How about you guys at home? I'm
We're in
excited.
for a treat. We're making pita in the comfort of your own kitchen.
Wow.
Fresh, delicious, and some nice light strawberry burrata salad.
Wow. It'll be really a great way to step into summer.
Absolutely.
Lighter dish. The weather out there is beautiful today. You guys have a great evening. Enjoy your dinner. And thank you again for joining us tonight.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Have a great evening.